This was becoming interesting for William. How many more times could he kill and get away with it? He had his eyes set on Freddy's and decided to do a rerun of his biggest killing spree, causing another missing children's incident to occur. He knew all the old suits were being transferred into this new location, so he knew exactly how to enter without setting off the animatronics. The Spring Bonnie suit. He found it in the parts and services room and put it on, and one night William roamed the building in the suit, killing another 5 kids. The puppet. The original children killed by William back in Fredbear's were back, now possessing the work-in-progress animatronic that they were originally stuffed in, their spirits being able to stay there as long as they did thanks to their corpses attaching to the endoskeleton. Evan himself, William's child, was given a second chance in Fredbear, which William had put his body into not long ago, trying to put him back together and make his body fuse with the animatronics'. Now, with the help of the reanimated animatronics, the puppet gives the recently killed children a second chance, but this time within the toy animatronics and Balloon Boy. This was unheard of. Animatronics coming to life, fusing dead children's souls into the suits. How did this even work? Many questions would be asked, and they would most likely be experimented on and given to the government or something huge like that. But the thing is, no one even knew. The animatronics acted how they did originally, but now their goals were to simply find their killer and finish him off for good. Each night they would see if the night shift worker was William and would continuously travel to their office to see so. The company dismissed this as abnormal and claimed to understand.
You're only the second guard to work at that location. The first guy finished his week but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift. So, hey, lucky you, right? Mainly he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office.
During all of this, the bullies that helped trip the puppet kept screwing with the animatronics in the pizzeria. This time it was Mangle. They ripped its original suit to pieces until it was a connected pile of scraps. The animatronic was dismantled daily by these kids, and the staff eventually stopped repairing it. The animatronics were getting angry, causing them to behave differently towards adults and staff members. But one day, Mangle became more unstable when it was once again dismantled and bit down on one of the kids and caused the loss of the frontal lobe of the victim's brain. All of the toy animatronics were scrapped due to apparent malfunctions, more specifically this bite from Mangle. In the same time, the second missing children's incident had also begun to come into light, and eventually the building was put into lockdown for now to avoid any more casualties.
From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, We're going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years, though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down.
On this day, they tracked Henry down, and he went back to work, but not for the good reasons Henry hoped he'd come back for. Fazbear Entertainment held a meeting with the entire team, and they eventually decided to shut the location down and work on a smaller location with no security system animatronics. Just simple singing and dancing animatronics like Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. The animatronics would be made by Henry to avoid any incidents or bugs with the animatronics, and for weeks on end, Henry worked and repaired the work-in-progress suits and brought them to life. Freddy Fazbear would be the main driver of the restaurant, with Bonnie the Bunny, Chica the Chicken, and Foxy the Pirate Fox tagging along. William's wife opened the door and was surprised to see him. William instantly raises the point that he hates Michael and he wants her to take him or else he'll throw him out to the streets. They argue. He doesn't want to be in his son's life. For a bad reason, being a bad dad, or a good reason, protecting him as everything near William falls, is unclear. After what felt like an hour, William decides he's done with the argument and storms off to sit in his car goalless. William's wife, now sick of hearing what he has to say, begins to shout and scream that Blood came from her stomach, and she watches William stare as she falls to the ground, passing out, never to awaken again. He drags her body to the car and puts her inside of it, slamming the boot shut. William begins work with Circus Baby sitting across from him. William made Baby to lure, capture, and kill kids, and unfortunately Elizabeth fell to his own creation, but with nothing else to lose. Why stop at one freak show? During the late hours of the night, William created his next two animatronics, Funtime Freddy and Funtime Foxy, both with different ways of luring children and killing them. Both animatronics had a white and purple color code. Funtime Freddy looked like Toy Freddy, but had a speaker on its chest below its black bow tie. Funtime Freddy holds a Bonnie plushie figure William would call Bon Bon in his right hand. Funtime Foxy looked exactly like put together Mangle, but with a large tail and, much like Freddy, a speaker on its chest. William also made a third animatronic that night, Ballora, a ballerina that would spin and sing. William based this animatronic not on luring nor capturing, but on containing and storing his wife, which is who the animatronic was based off in the first place. Between animatronic builds, William made smaller animatronics like Bon Bon for fun, such as Bitty Babs and Mini Arenas. With these main four animatronics with their own AI systems, William opened a new location, but not one that could be seen so easily with an outsider's view. An underground location where outsiders, or customers, could rent out and have the animatronics at their birthday parties as a special delivery of a surprise. This new location would go on to be called Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals. After the long few years since Evan's death in 1983, William sat in his office he used to monitor Evan in and looked at his child's empty bedroom, eventually turning the monitors off to see his reflection, the reflection of a broken man descending further down his rabbit hole of madness. But instead of looking away out of shame, he grins of demoralization. Almost a year after Fazbear Entertainment closed Freddy's, the company opened up a new location to the public, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, but new. The rivalry between William and Henry continues with William's location's grand opening. Michael is abandoned and unsure where to go next. But beside all of this, unknowingly to William, the animatronics are now possessed. Worst of all, some containing his own family, such as Circus Baby, Fredbear, and Ballora. The animatronics are angry, hungry for blood, trying to find their killer and out for nothing but cold-hearted revenge. William sneaks into Freddy's and begins walking towards the animatronics. William starts to head towards what has become of his creations with only one goal in his unstable mind. The souls of the children were freed from their eternal cage. William knew something was wrong with the robots from the start. He knew the children were still in there. Now free of their prison, the children were angry, staring at the one who took their lives away prematurely. They headed towards William in anger, and he ran to something that would hopefully scare the vengeful spirits away. William laughed inside of the Spring Bunny suit as the spirits stared at him, remembering their final day.
What? Are you scared of the funny bunny?
William queried the spirits, who all looked up to the roof. The room they were in was unfinished and only meant for some employees, mainly just Henry, and the room was also off any cameras so no one could see what was happening inside of them. The whole area was built poorly and there wasn't much inside of it, but thanks to the heat of the room, the frozen condensation dripped from the roof slowly, maybe a drop of water per 2 seconds. This wouldn't be a problem if William didn't forget the basic rules of a Springlock suit. Springlocks and water can't coexist. The Springlock suit malfunctioned and sprung into its usual position, and William fell within his creation with blood piling all around him. He pleaded the spirits for help, begging for his life to be spared, but the spirits went away, out of William's sight. On this day, Henry stepped into the building, hearing the shouts of an old friend. He ran to see what happened, only to see William inside the Spring Bunny suit, blood covering it whole.
William? Please?
Upon hearing he was there, Henry thought he would die thanks to blood loss, so he walked out the room with that thought and slammed it shut. He considered that maybe karma had finally come for William.
Please!
Over time, Henry covered the entrance to the safe rooms until there was no possible way to get inside or even know the room was there. But unfortunately, the damage done to the animatronic was too much for Henry to fix quickly, and not just putting them back together will help. People were complaining about the foul smells coming from the animatronics as their suits haven't been fully opened for years. William meddling with their suits caused a lot of bad press for the franchise. William dying, the animatronics broken, everyone he knew being dead. If it wasn't too much for Henry before, it's too much now. It began to overwhelm Henry and he was struggling to keep this franchise alive. So, in the year of 1993, Henry shut Freddy's for the final time, not planning to ever open another location in the franchise. But there was one thing Henry couldn't forget and push aside so easily: his daughter. He had this feeling that his daughter was somehow inside the puppet. He had no idea how or why she would be, but he feels Charlie inside of it, and it's the only one that he couldn't find when destroying the toy animatronics. At the time, he thought maybe someone stole it, which, since he was going to destroy it anyways, it wouldn't be a big deal, but maybe Charlie pushed the puppet away or something like that. He didn't know. He sounded insane, even to himself, but he wouldn't let the chance slip past, so he created a new animatronic he'd called Lefty, which stood for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract. That looked like a black version of Toy Freddy, but was created for a completely different purpose: capturing and finding the puppet and possibly destroying it to free Charlie's soul.